Hey everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here with you guys this morning. If you are listening live, it is the 30th of July at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and I'm just glad to be here. I want to let you guys know that we're over in the chat room, and you can find us by heading over to 12radio.com. That's number 2 radio.com. Click on the chat button and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. From there, you'll see my banner at the top of the page. Oh, and if you've never joined before, just ask for entry and Scott's standing by and he'll gladly let you join the group. However, if you have, you'll see my banner at the top of the page. That's where we are chatting and sharing this morning. If you scroll down a little further, you'll see the live stream. So you can either watch the live stream or listen through the player and keep up in the chat. Either way is fine with me. I do want to let you know that if you're listening to an archive or a replay, if you would like to watch the video, you can head over to YouTube. That's Domestic Mystic on YouTube and find the video there. Or it's always posted on my website too, and that's katie-weaver.com right on the web. So lots of easy ways to connect. I'm excited because it's Animal Communication Day. Now, I admit I'm fudging a tiny bit. Animal Communication Day is supposed to be the first Tuesday of every month. My daughter's having her tonsils out next Tuesday. I will definitely not be here. So, rather than get behind the game, I thought we'd get ahead of it. So, here we are. So, what does that mean? Well, of course, we have all of our regular segments and things we do around here, but I also get to read for your animals today. So, put their pictures up in the chat room for me, even if you're not looking for a reading. This is a fun time to get to come and share your babies. Not everybody on the internet appreciates constant pictures of cats and dogs or birds or whatever, but we do. So share in the chat room, share your babies with us. But if you need some help, this is a great time to ask for it. Behavior issues, health issues, just questions about what's going on with them. We can cover anything. That also includes past animals. If you have said goodbye and you'd like a check-in, or you want to talk about their death a little bit and get a little bit of closure or comfort, we can do that too. So it's all up to you guys. You decide where we're going to go today, what we're going to talk about, right? I am going to teach you one skill, and I'm going to teach it here on the show, but you might want to be in the live stream for that here a little later. I'm going to teach you a skill with one of my dogs. Hopefully they're going to cooperate. Both of the Chihuahuas insisted on coming into my office today. So they're both in here with me while we're doing the show. So hopefully one of them will let me show you something. I want to teach you a little skill that is really nice to know when you are connecting to all of the four-leggeds. So that's what's happening today. I hope you guys are having a good week. The energy is a little better than last week. The flow is better. Last week was quite confrontational. You might have noticed. Last week, even like the nicest people felt a little overdone. And, that doesn't mean you always have to be nice. I kind of wish I hadn't said it that way. You don't have to be nice. You just have to be you. Nice isn't always in your best interest. But, and so maybe that energy was good for you in a sense, right? But there was a lot of can-do energy by Thursday, Friday, Saturday. People were feeling the need to get stuff done. We were seeing lots of, like major house cleaning, and you might have cleaned out your purse or the car, the things that get neglected. So there's been a lot of that going on. It's kind of funny. It even happened for me, but I know my family rejoiced, but whatever, it's all good. But anyhow, that's kind of where we were at. And then moving into Sunday was kind of a drop dead day where a lot of people were feeling pretty flat, needed a rest day, needed a down day. Moving into this week where the energy is just flowing better. You probably are still feeling quite motivated and committed to accomplish some things, but you might not be feeling quite so intense. And others around you, that may have affected others around you more than you. So hopefully you're experiencing a little better flow this week. That would be great. So, pound of my Powerade. Sugar-free Powerade, of course. I have to drink a Powerade or some kind of electrolytes every day. And I know sometimes there's better choices, but to be honest, I really like Powerade and it does what I need. So because of my absorption issues with calcium and other electrolytes, I have to feed it to me every day. So in the summer, in the winter I don't, but when it's hot, gotta have it. So it's fine. It's whatever. Actually, if I'm like dragging and not feeling good, a Powerade is juice for me. It really is. So thank goodness we have it, right? Alrighty, well, let's go ahead and get into some of our regular stuff. I want to make one request of you guys. This isn't something I do very often on the show, but actually just a few minutes before I went live, I received a phone call from a dear friend of mine that her ex-husband is in critical condition in the hospital right now. He is the dad of some of my daughter's very best friends. They're two of our softball girls. So, you know, Scott and I consider them to be our kids, you know, our girls. And he had a stomach surgery a couple of weeks ago and hasn't recovered very well. And apparently crashed this morning and has coded several times now. And things are pretty dire. So what can we do? Well, we can be the spiritual warriors that we are, right? So I already put it in our 111 group, our We Are One group that many of you are a part of. But I wanted to just ask you as a whole to just take a moment with me. Send your love, your prayers, your healing, whatever you got to Steve, that he can recover from this and continue to be a great dad to those awesome kids. And also send all of your love to Grace, Megan, and Linda, because this is an extremely challenging, frightening, terrifying day for them. So, thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your love. This is the best place I know of to go. Alrighty. So, let's keep moving. I want to show you, of course, Luminous. Luminous published just a little bit earlier this morning. And this is, of course, the magazine, the publication that I put out every week with my colleagues right here at 12 Listen and 12 Radio. So I put a link in the chat room if you'd like to follow along with me, but you can also find it right over at katie-weaver.com under the Luminous Magazine tab. So this is our last week of this cute embroidery theme. I have loved it personally. I think it's super cute. So I called the magazine this week the Helpers and Healers Edition. Years ago, I studied under a grandmother named Bright Owl. And Bright Owl, she always said, she was actually an RN and had been studying the Native American spirituality. That was a part of her heritage for a good 30 years and had passed a lot of really powerful things on to me. One thing that I heard her say over and over again was, my life is about helping and healing. And if whatever it is that came on her path isn't about helping and healing, then I have no interest in it. So she, that's kind of how she made all decisions in her life. Is this where Spirit wants me to go? Is this where the Mother wants me to go? Is this about helping and healing? And it's kind of just how she has really forged her path in life. And that's always really stuck with me, that, we get so distracted by so much bullshit in the world, and I'm the worst for it. It's not a criticism, it's a statement. But it's a good reminder to me, and I think to all of us, that we're here for helping and healing ourselves, our families, our communities, in the world. And so if things come along that aren't about helping and healing, maybe that's not the right path. Just food for thought. But I felt like this week we're seeing a lot of helping and healing. And so that's why I called the magazine that edition right now, because a lot of the articles to me really spoke of that. All right. I shared in my memoir, it's not so much of a memoir, it's an article that I wrote on my blog yesterday about 5 wild ways to thrive in a toxic work environment. Are you in a toxic work environment? Not even necessarily toxic, but chaotic, perhaps. If you are, gosh, I had put a hyperlink there and I'm not seeing it, so people won't be able to go forward with it. I'm going to share a link here to that article as well. So I'll have to go in and fix that after the show. But, you know, work isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily toxic. Maybe it's just chaotic. Maybe it's just a bit of a soap opera. But whatever it is, there are ways to help you move through that. And probably many more ways than only what I share. But I was just working a little bit on thinking outside of the box, working a little bit on what are some tricks, what are some tips. So I'm going to share a couple and I'll let you go to the blog to read the rest. The first was play a drinking game. Water, obviously you're at work. Play a drinking game. This is one of my favorite things to do. If you are in a situation that your inner voice is full of sarcasm, you can't take very much more of what you're hearing, right? If you're at your desk, and this is what I said, if you are feel like you're going to throw a stapler the next time Barbara mentions her cats, sorry cats, or Stacy complains about her husband, drink. Drink plenty of water. It's good for your body. It grounds your spirit, and it'll give you plenty of excuses to take a potty break. Everybody wins, right? And only you know that you're playing the game. Okay. My second suggestion was see yourself starring in a sitcom. So your boss you might not be in an episode of The Office, but your boss is probably plenty like Michael Scott, right? I would imagine that you could see yourself in a place where you are, I don't know, just able to see yourself as Jim or Pam, maybe Dwight, I don't know, doing one of those little asides, the little personal interviews where you are deadpan discussing all of the office drama or office gossip. I don't know. Again, that dialogue in your head matters, right? Keep it light, keep it funny, the best you can. That helps you from plunging into the abyss. It helps your frequency to stay above the tar and all the BS, right? So keep it light and keep it fun as much as you can, even if the joke is only happening within you. That's what I'm thinking. Now, there's more suggestions there on the blog. I'll let you go and check them out. But those are some things that I was thinking about to make work just a little bit more fun, a little bit less stressful, and to just cut that tense energy. Lighthearted. Alrighty. I wanted to point out that Kai has given us her part 4 of her article about connections to self. This one was about taking risks, and I really liked it because I'm working on a project right now that maybe is taking a bit of a risk. Not really. I mean, probably no one on the outside would see it as taking a risk, but to me, I'm working on birthing something new, and that always feels like a bit of a risk, you know, a bit of weirdness. It's all going to roll out here in about a month, and you guys will definitely be invited to be a part of it. So sit tight. It's all good stuff, but birthing something new always feels a little holy shit, right? So I loved what she had to say. I want to thank Kai for that very much. The tip of the week this week. You are the star of your own life story. Right? You are the star of your own life story. Are you the hero or the villain? It's time to stop sabotaging yourself. How many of us do this? We all do sometimes. You know you have. We can think back to times. It's so much easier to see it in someone else. It's easy to go, oh, I know what this is. They were just sabotaging themselves. But can you recognize it in yourself? Hopefully you can. And if you can't, hopefully you can, talk to somebody like me or one of my colleagues that listen that can help point it out to you gently. But where do you sabotage yourself? Where are you getting in your own way? And why? And what do you need? What do you need to be able to move forward? That's the question, right? What's going to help you the most to stop sabotaging yourself? If you are. If you're stuck, if you're feeling like life's not moving forward, if you're not quite getting what you need or want, that's when we want to talk about it and really explore that subject and find the spots where perhaps that is the truth. Sometimes you sabotage yourself in a way that you may not really quite realize is self-sabotage. One of the biggest self-sabotages I see in my clients is conditions. They build this mountain of conditions, right? I want this to happen in my life, but it has to be blah, 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 blah. All of these things. And if it's not, then that means it's not the right thing for me and I'll never have it and I just have to stop looking. Not true. Sometimes those conditions are the very way that you are sabotaging yourself. Sometimes the bar gets set too high or too weird or too off target to what you really want. And sometimes it's really exploring those and finding a way to make some concessions, or to find a way to become comfortable with something a little different within yourself is the way to finally get the thing that you want. But at any rate, let's look at it. If that seems to be the case for you, if you feel like the self-sabotage is happening, let's talk about it. One way I have seen self-sabotage, particularly in my kids, but I've seen it in some of my clients as well, is this energy of apathy. A few years ago, Micah was going to wrestling districts. He should have wrestled at state. He had been the top in his weight class the entire year. There was no reason why he wouldn't have, won districts or maybe taken second, somewhere right in there. And that was fine. It wasn't, he didn't have to win, but he should have gone to state. He was on fire that year. Morning of districts, he says to me, I don't really care if I go to districts. I'm burned out. I don't even care. I don't care what happens today. And I said, really? Because you've been working pretty hard this season to just suddenly not care now. And that's a pretty crappy attitude for your team, because your points help them to also win districts, right? And he's like, oh yeah, but we have a lot of good wrestlers. They don't really need me. And I just, it just doesn't matter. And I said, Micah, I think it does matter. I suspect that what's happening here is that you are afraid of losing. And because of that, you've now convinced yourself that it doesn't really matter, so that you don't really have to care about the outcome. And he sat down and he looked at me for a minute and he goes, yeah, that's true. He said, I don't know if I'm going to stay. I don't know if I can really do it. And I said, that's okay. It's okay if you can't, It's okay whatever happens today, but are you really going to give up on yourself just like that? And give up on your team just like that? And he was like, pretty much. I didn't turn it around in him. Maybe I didn't have to, it was a life lesson for him, right? But he went to districts and he died. He didn't try at all. He lost to kids that he's beat over and over that year. It didn't matter. He was determined that it didn't matter if he went to state. He didn't think he could go to state, whatever, and he didn't go to state. And then later on, of course, as his teammates are prepping to go to state, and as even his districts are ending and they're lining up all of these kids with their medals and taking their pictures, it started to sink in. Holy shit, I should have been up there. I could have done that. That was supposed to be me. But he decided not to care and not to try. It was just 1 year. It was just sophomore year. Maybe it was junior year. Like, it's not the end of the world. It was just a thing, right? But it was a pattern that then I saw start to play out in him at other times. And then I really had to get active with him about exploring what he was afraid of and why trying too much or putting himself out there that much was something that he was so willing to dismiss and sabotage. And it changed the way he has operated in some ways. And in some ways, there have been moments that I've fallen back on that and said, do you remember junior year districts? And he'll be like, yes, I remember. Are you sure you're not doing that right now? Yes, I'm probably doing that right now. As moms, we get to be so exasperating. But it was such a big lesson for him. I share that story with you guys only because I've seen it with many people in various climates, with a various backstory, where suddenly we just decide that we don't care, and that's just what it is, So if you have sunk into that place of apathy, if you need a mom talk, if you need a shot in the arm, or if you just need some help sorting out why you're feeling that way and what you can do to flip the script, come and talk to me. Let's work it out. You do not have to feel like that, right? Period. Okay, so that's all on that subject. That's all. I know it's a big lecture, but sometimes someone needs it. And you know, someone's going to pop up in the chat room and be like, okay, damn it, you were talking to me. It's just funny how spirit works that way, right? I love it. Alrighty, well, there's a lot more good in the magazine. Make sure that you go and find it, read through the articles. Please tell me that you have seen or that you will see the Magic Monday message from Melissa Caprio. It is so awesome. I absolutely love this postcard. It's the best. Melissa is so gifted. Her eye is so gifted to see things that she can do something with, and I love it. Also, take a look at Chrisanne Morgan's article. It heads out with greetings, fellow Earth travelers. That's what we are currently, right? She's talking about the dynamic of now, the astrology behind it, and how you can use it to benefit or at least heal. So I love what she had to say. Really powerful words. And so much more. So much more. So be sure that you climb through there, that you find something of benefit to yourself, and let me know if there's anything that really jumps out at you. I love to share that, or let the author know. That's awesome too. I love to share those notes with the people who write around here because they work hard and they do a great job. So that is Luminous this week. All righty. So, all right, I am seeing some pictures being sent over. I'm loving it. Okay, now I'm hoping we can get to all the babies today. Oh my goodness. Mary, Tammy is so freaking cute. I can't even believe it. That makes me want to give her the biggest hug and kiss. She's got an underbite, guys. An underbite. Not cute in humans. Adorable in dogs and pigs. Okay. Let's do a couple more things here. And we will move on to the animal stuff, right? So we didn't do any vibrational healing last week, and so I felt like we should do it this week. Darn it. I'm having an elbow thing. It's just arthritis. Like I'm not injured. It's just a thing. But anyway, it's affected my grip, and I just wasn't strong enough to pick up a Powerade. So there you go. That's really wimpy. Okay. I have to laugh at myself sometimes. That is pathetic. Okay. Crisis averted. I got my drink. All right. So, definitely going to hold the bowl with my left hand. I wanted to do some work. One thing I have just seen here in the last little while is a lot of people with their confidence shaken for various reasons. Life happens, you know, and life stirs up our confidence here and there. It could be a work thing. It could be a family thing. It could be a body image thing. It could be a million things. But I've seen quite a bit of it here in the last few weeks. I've also seen a lot of blaming. Blaming yourselves for things that are not your fault. Blaming yourselves for things that you did the best you could in the time that you had. Just a lot of self-blame and beating ourselves up. So I wanted to use a solar plexus bowl today and just do some really good clearing in your belly. Not just your solar plexus, but your whole solar plexus area. So moving through your organs, I want us to be able to release. Did you know that a lot of people hold anger right in around their liver and their gallbladder if they have one? Yeah, that's something that happens. A lot of people hold worry right up around their kidneys and in their small back. A lot of people hold worry in their stomach too. But sometimes I see people with some pretty thick black energy that's really built up in that solar plexus cavity. And I want to release that. Let's get rid of it. Let's be healthy in lots of ways, right? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play the bowl. I want you to move your consciousness all the way into the center of your body. Not your solar plexus per se, but all the way into your gut. And as I play the bowl, I would like you to hold the intention that the vibration of the singing bowl is dissolving anything that you have stored there, anything you're holding that no longer serves you, any fear, any worry, any anger, anything that you're holding in that whole solar plexus band that isn't serving you anymore. So we're going to do that first. So let's do that now. So I'm just going to ask you to take a couple of deep breaths with me here. grounded and centered. Now moving your consciousness directly into the center of your body, right into your gut. Okay? Now I'm going to play the bowl. As I do so, I want you to hold space there, holding the intention that the vibration, the frequency of the singing bowl will continue to move through you, dissolving any fear-based energy there, anything you no longer want to carry. Good. Okay. Good. So a great release there. Now round 2, we're going to go back. This time I would like you to just shift your consciousness right into your solar plexus chakra. Again, it's right above your belly button. It's normally yellow in most people. Most people see it that way. This time I'm going to play the bowl, and while I do so, I want you to allow your solar plexus to brighten and get brighter and brighter and brighter, turning up the light, just really raising the frequency of that chakra, bringing it open, bringing it into beautiful balance, just really strengthening your confidence, your personal power, and your self-worth. So we'll do that now. Good. Perfect. Okay. We've cleared, we've lightened, we've brightened. One tiny warning. Sometimes when you do a deep dive like that into the body, it will trigger a bit of an intestinal event. That could happen. But if it does, you know, you're just letting that shit go, right? Right. Okay. So it's good. Everybody wins. Alrighty. So that's a great start. All right, so that's the singing bowl work today. Let's go ahead and do our reading for the week. This, of course, comes from my deck, from the Ground, Bless, Protect, and Move deck. And you can learn more about that over on my website if you're interested at katie-weaver.com. But we want to pull cards for spiritual care, self-care for the week. We have an interesting week in front of us because we have that super dark moon, the new moon tomorrow, that is going to be pretty intense, pretty interesting, I think. So we're going to have to work through that, I think, work on that and maybe through that. So I'll be interested to hear, how things are going for you guys. And if you need some help, just come and let me know. But I think that's going to be, a bit of an interesting experience. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. I'm reading a lot of things about it. Some of it seems kind of ominous. Some of it just seems like a lot of good personal growth. I'm not too worried. I'm never worried. All right, the ground card this week is the draw card. Drawing is a really easy way to ground yourself. It's an absent-minded way. You can do this while you are watching TV or riding in the car or, you know, listening to your teacher lecture. If you were a kid, a lot of you guys were fiddlers, right? You had to do something. You probably doodled all over everything. You were grounding yourself so that you could listen and learn. It's always an interesting thing to me. The brain's so interesting. But ground yourself by drawing. That also could include crafting, coloring books, drawing, whatever, right? Painting. Doing something creative with your hands is very grounding. That's the point. Okay. The blessed card is the body. Whenever this card comes up, I always take that as a reminder to check in with yourself. Are you eating the way your body wants you to? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you moving yourself? Do you have a concern that really needs to be brought to a doctor that you've been kind of avoiding? The body card always is a reminder to take stock and do what you need to do to help support and protect your body. Now, to bless your body, easy enough, right? The self-hug. Put your arms around yourself in some way. Close your eyes and speak out loud whatever you want for your body. Perhaps it's perfect health. Perhaps it's energy. Perhaps it is balance. Whatever it is, speak those things aloud. Speak lovingly. Speak kindly to your body. It does you no good to hate your body for whatever reason. Sometimes it's easy to, when you're not the shape you want to be, when you're not in the health you want to be, when you feel like your body's holding you back from doing the things you want to do, it's easy to be pissed off. It's easy to be a little bitter. But hating your body does you no good. It doesn't make you healthier. It doesn't make you thinner. It doesn't make you happier. So find a way to be compassionate, loving, and kind to that vessel of yours. You need it. Without it, you're not here, right? At least not in this capacity. Okay. The protect card is the brick wall. This is a great one for times when you feel like you just need an immediate protection or, you know, divide from somebody or something. Throw up a brick wall between you and whatever that thing is. This is a great way to envision setting yourself apart from or creating some distance from something that your spirit isn't happy with, right? All right. The move card is the hike card. And maybe you go on a hike or a walk or you wander around the backyard or whatever, but get yourself outside this week. Connect to nature in some way. You don't have to be in movement the whole time. You could also be planting your body on the earth and just taking in that connection between you and the mother. But move your body this week. And then the boost card is the just right card. That's right, it's time to write. Journal, blog, or notebook. You can't make the wrong choice when you are spilling your guts. Use this as an opportunity to release anything that you need to release. Right? Just write something. Work on your memoirs. Right? Write yourself a letter. Write somebody else a letter. Journal. Whatever. Put a big old post on instant or social media about something that's in your heart. It's totally up to you. You can share it. You can not share it. That's your choice. So that is the Ground Blessed Protected Move reading for the week. All right. So I am ready to move on into some of our animal work. I'm seeing lots of fun pictures here. So first of all, I do want to teach you a skill talking about the brachial chakra. I'm going to see if I can invite one of these dogs to come and join me. We'll see how it goes. Come on. All right. They were sleeping on the couch in their blankies. So, of course, I had to go and disturb that, but I need their help. Okay. So, this is Skippy. Skippy is about 14 now. 14? Yeah. 14. He's my little love. He's my little constant companion. And I woke him up from a nap, so he's looking a little perturbed. My sister thinks that he looks just like Eddie Munster. I don't know. What do you think? Eddie Munster? If you're in the live stream, you're seeing him. Okay. So, talking about the brachial chakra. Animals have identical chakras to us for the very most part. But they have one chakra that we don't have, and it is the brachial. The brachial is it's their point of divineness. It's their point of spirit. It's a really good place for you to be able to connect with their spirit. This is particularly useful when you're bonding to a new animal, but it's also very useful in animal communication. It's also just good when you are, connecting to your own animals. But the brachial is a spot where you may find that your hands actually naturally rest a lot of times when you're petting an animal, when you are connecting to them. So I want to show you on Skippy, but the brachial chakra is at the point of their shoulder blades. So right about where their shoulder blades are and about a finger width down, right there, that's where you'll find the brachial. It is kind of, if you could see it, it's kind of, it looks a lot like the third eye, I think, kind of an indigo-ish iridescent color. But that's what the brachial is. So how do you connect to it in a meaningful way? Well, if you're practicing on one of your fur babies, great. And if you're not, you can go back and practice on them later. But the first thing I want to encourage you to do is to just really activate your palm chakras. So your palm chakras are the chakras in the palm of your hands. And these are chakras that we use a lot in energy work. And they're ones that are important. They're important to have activated if you're going to connect like this. So one way to just stimulate them and activate them is kind of pull the Mr. Miyagi, right? Clap your hands together and rub them together until you have a good amount of friction. You'll start to feel some heat. You might feel some tingling, right? That's energy that you are creating. All right? Then you can pull that hand apart. And now I want you to just, if you're working with me, if you do this later, do it later, but we're going to talk through it right now. Go ahead and put it right on the brachial, right? Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. If the animal in question shies away from you and does not want you to touch them there, then don't. They have the right to say no. But this is a divine connection point, and usually they're very interested in connecting with you that way, right? So Skippy's just relaxing. He's licking me. He's totally chill, right? So right here, all right? Hand on the brachial. We've already activated that palm chakra. And now I want you to, from your heart, send a good burst of love all the way down your arm, out your hand, and into that brachial. Can you feel that? You might feel some heat in your hand. You might feel some cold. Some people feel energy is cold, not hot, and that's fine. There's no wrong answer. You may feel some tingling or some pins and needles. Some people might even feel a very light burning, right? But this is you sending love into that animal. Now, if you sit for just a moment, you might feel them pulse something back to you, because this is a connection point where we create some kind of a connection, a spiritual communication. So you can sit with that for a while, and you may feel something warm come back to you or come into your heart. You might even feel a bit of a message come back in. But that's the way you connect to the brachial. Cool. Okay. So thank you, Skippy. I guess I'll just probably let him stay. But so that's how you connect to the brachial. I would love to hear your experiences in the chat. If you tried that, how it worked for you, or if you try it later on, let me know. One thing, so I think I'm just going to tell you guys what I'm working on, because it's really coming up strong for me. What I'm working on is creating a 10-module course on animal communication and animal healing. And so I'm going to be teaching it in the fall. And if you are interested in animal communication, whether it is to work with your own animals, or if you'd like to add this to your practice or do it professionally, this is a course that we will cover all aspects of animal healing, animal communication, the chakra system, lots of things that have to do with animals, right? It'll be a 10-module series. It's going to connect you with other people that are stepping off into the world of energy work and animal communication. So it's coming in the fall. I won't be launching it for probably a month. I think it's going to be September, kind of a back to school kind of thing, but watch for that. I would love for you guys to join me in that group, but that's going to be coming. Okay. Alrighty. Well, let's go ahead and jump in the chat room. So Elisa shared a picture of her Newfoundland. She has a huge, gorgeous Newfie. Her name is Shiloh, and she's absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Elisa, for sharing her with us. All right, Carol shares. This is her dog, Brooklyn. She left the room. She had the nerve to leave the room. When she came back in, her dog was looking at her with a pretty, longing look. Like, where the heck did you go? She's darling. Oh. Okay, so Elisa said that she thinks Shiloh's getting ready to transition soon. They're going to go to the vet today. So Elisa, as always, so much love to you and to Shiloh as well. What a majestic dog she is. Mary says, can you look into why my chocolate lab is so terrified of water? His name is Beer, and he's almost 2. I can't even bathe him. I have an idea. I want to talk to Beer about it, though. Okay. Yeah. This has nothing to do with this lifetime. This is a past life fear in him. All right, so I'm going to talk to him about it and show him. First, I'm going to show him the lifetime so that he understands that in this life he is safe with water. That he has a very intense fear of water, though, because of a past experience. He was, do you guys want to hear this? I don't know if you want to hear this. I guess I'm going to tell you. He was within a litter of puppies that were thrown in a bag, put in a bag and thrown in a body of water. Yeah. Yep. Pretty new babies. People are so horrible, aren't they? So cruel. So at any rate, he drowned. So that's where this is coming from for him, that fear of water. So I'm showing him that so that he remembers and realizes that that's what happened, and when it happened. There were like 8 puppies. There was a ton of them. Oh, okay. All right, so now I'm just going to take a minute helping him understand that that was then, and in this lifetime, he has been healthy and happy and loved, and that he has no reason to be afraid of water now. I'm also going to show him the bathtub, Mary, and I'm going to show him you. Yep, pouring water over his head with a cup and rubbing on the soap. And him sitting calmly and letting you do it. Yep. And now climbing out of the tub and standing on the rug while you dry him off. And now you're giving him a treat so that he can see there's a reward at the end of the tunnel. You're praising him. You're telling him he's a good boy. That was great. Thank you for being brave. And he's okay. Okay, and now I'm showing him bodies of water. The ocean, the canal, things like that, so that he can see that you are keeping him safe and that he doesn't have to be afraid anymore. Okay. Poor kid. Okay, well, Mary, let's see how that does. He is super smart, and he was very receptive to that. And when I pulled the past life memory forward for him, he remembered. He had it. And a lot of times once we get a past life memory to the surface, for people and for animals, that sometimes is all it takes to clear the phobia in this lifetime. So we'll see how that goes with him, but I'm encouraged to see how that goes. Okay. It looks like, okay, Jane says that Maxwell Smart, not being smart Maxwell, showed up limping again. He keeps insisting on going outside. He wants to be a prowler at night, but he keeps getting beat up. So she said that he doesn't have any obvious marks this time, but she's worried. Let me tune into him. There's no marks, but he's bruised up. You know, I don't think it was a cat this time, Jane. I think it was a dog. Because whatever bit him didn't bite him, didn't have teeth so sharp like cats do to puncture. It bruised him instead. I'm going to talk to him again about staying in. That it's no longer safe and that it is very difficult for you. I'm telling him he can look out the windows and he has all of his memories of all of his younger days when he was prowling, but that's coming to a close and it's time to stay in. And he doesn't like it, but I'm showing him the limp and reminding him that he could have been killed that night and not come home. That's what I'm going to show him. I'm showing him how panicked you would be, how you'd be wandering the neighborhoods calling for him, how you'd be coming home heartbroken. And that's making a mark. Okay. So no more, Max. It's time to stay in, time to stay safe. Okay. We'll see how that goes with him. I feel like he's bruised up. I feel like he's gonna heal up, but he's definitely got some pretty good bruises going. Dang it. I'm so sorry that happened. Okay. All right. Sorry. Scrolled down and scrolled way too far. Okay. All right. Oh, Shauna shared a picture of one of her little kittens that's been cruising around. Oh my goodness, they're adorable. How fun. Catherine would love to check in with Lordship Tigger. Hopefully he's in a better mood than last time. He was very grouchy last time. I think he has a loose tooth, so would love verification on that. He has more than a loose tooth. He has a couple of loose teeth and bothered teeth. Yeah, his mouth's definitely bothering him. Catherine, I'll give you that. He is in a little better mood this time. Yeah, he pretty much shut me down last time, didn't he? Told me off. Cats are like that. Dogs don't ever do that, really. Well, rarely. But cats are just more, well, like you'd expect him to be, like a cat. He is in a little better space, though, I would say that. Okay, Jean says, I would love a message from a dog I had as a child. My parents gave her away to an older couple, and the dog ran away. Her name was Snoopy, and her fur was an off-white color. Let's see if we can pull her in. Yeah, do you know why she ran away, Jean? She was trying to come home. But she did find a family with kids. She didn't like the older couple. It was boring. They were nice to her, but she's showing me that it wasn't fun. It wasn't like being, well, around kids. But she did run away trying to come home. And I know she didn't find you guys, but I do want you to take some heart in knowing that she did find a family that already had a whole bunch of dogs, but took her too. And they had kids, and she was okay. But she never forgot you. She says that you were kind of a fearful child, and you whispered in her ear, you hugged her around her neck, that she was a real comfort to you, or she hoped that she was when you were a kid. Yeah, she sure always loved you, Jean. She's one of those soul connections. You're not done with that dog. You'll see her again. All right. Chris said, we had a dog when I was little that had to be put down. I was 6, and the last one to run in the house while playing. The dog was scrambling in also at my feet. Something on his body. Sorry, I'm having a hard time reading that. It got that created point of no return condition. Okay. I cannot get the graphic in the description. Is it possible for me to really forgive myself? Okay. Okay, got it. I think I got it. All right, let's tune into that. And his name was also Snoopy. Isn't that sweet? We have two little Snoopies bouncing around today. Let me tune in. So he says that you have always carried that image, that situation, that hurt, and that it has spilled into the way you connect with other animals because you've been hyper careful, hyper aware, almost to the point of like, well, not almost, but to the point of anxiety over the animals in your world. He says that it really wasn't your fault, that there were other people that let you down, that didn't do what they should have done, older people than you that didn't do what they should have done, and that was much more the issue than you, and he's never wanted you to carry that ever. So he says, please stop feeling like you caused something that you didn't cause. You were a child. He says there doesn't have to be blame. When animals transition, there doesn't ever have to be blame because animals move through an escalation point. I've heard it as an elevation point too, but he said escalation point where they move into a higher realm, and it's okay. You know, he stayed with you for years, Chris. He stayed with you right at your feet, hanging out with you. Yeah. I hope that at this point that you can forgive yourself. I really, really do. Okay. Lots of cute babies here. All right, Jan says, any messages from my cat Blue? He's 13 years old. He lives with me, but he won't use the litter box for urine and occasionally will use it for poop. Okay. Yeah, let's tune in to Blue. Yeah, he's weird about the box. He almost acts like he's afraid of the box. No, he didn't like that I said that. He said not afraid, resistant. So Jan, there's this almost royal energy in this cat. And I feel like it's not, so when I said fear, of course, he didn't like that. What he's showing me is more that it's a resistance to using the box because he thinks he's above it. Wow. Okay. I'm going to show him using the box and explain to him that he's not above it. Wow, I don't know if I've ever heard that from a cat before. That a cat, his words, Jan, a cat of his stature shouldn't be diminished into urinating in a box. Okay. Well, I'm showing him that anyway and telling him that we would really like for that to happen right away. But that's his energy around it. Wow. Guys, we've done what we do. We've talked down to the end of the show. I have got to go. You'll find me over at 1-2-Listen for the rest of the day and evening. I'll be there for the whole week. And of course, you'll find me back here at 11 a.m. Pacific on Thursday for the Psychic Sisters. You've been watching The Katie Weaver Show, or listening, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.